Speaking of quitting things, like I quit Facebook this year. It's just too much weird privacy stuff. But Facebook's one of those things that's so addicting that there's still things that they could do to make me want to use it. Like I think if Facebook gets to announce when someone's relationship status gets changed to in a relationship, they should also have to give you the reason that it's changed back to single. So just like when it says when Craig and Katie are now in a relationship, it'll also say when Craig and Katie are taking a break. Or to make it more direct, when Craig and Katie are taking a break because Craig cheated on Katie with that bitch from accounting. Common status is so-and-so status. It's complicated. It's complicated because of Deborah. Also that bitch from accounting, it turns out. Deborah gets around. It's around the office. Basically, if you break up on Facebook because you cheated, Facebook should also tag that person. Craig getting dumped, dash, with Deborah. Whoa, jeez. That's gonna suck for Deb. But sucking's what got her into that situation, sort of, so I think it evens out. You know? I turned 21 this past year, which I'm really excited about. Oh, thank you. Which means, like, 21 to me just means, like, I'm just inside adulthood, like, just over there. And I look at my other, like, I still have a lot of younger friends on the other side, and I look at them like they're so immature, you know? And most of them aren't, but some live up to the hype. Like, I have a friend, a 17-year-old friend who came up to me the other day and was like, "Oh, Ben, I just saw the gayest thing ever. I was walking through the park and I saw these two dudes making out. Oh, so gay." First of all, horrible conversation starter, classic young person move. And second of all, really? Like, that's the gayest thing ever? Unless you watch that through a telescope made of erect penises, like, it's not that gay. Like, even then, like, each lens would have to be increasingly a gay asshole or something. Like, slow your roll. But like, gayest thing ever, I don't think that's a bad expression because it's offensive to gay people necessarily. That's just something that's, you know, almost never true. Like, if instead he came up to me and was like, "Oh, Ben, I just saw the gayest thing ever." "Oh yeah, what was that?" I walked to my apartment, 70 guys having sex. Elton John was blaring in the background, Richard Simmons and George Carlin squats in the corner for some reason, fucking glitter everywhere, still not the guy in the apartment, have to change the locks again. Oh, it's the gayest thing ever. My response to them would be, well, yeah, that's an appropriate thing to say. Like, it's pretty gay. Alright guys, that's my time tonight. Thank you very much. My name's Ben Stevens.
That's right, I did come from Chicago. Thank you. When I pulled into town, I saw a car with those balls hanging from the back. Not a truck, a car. Caprice Classic. I was like, interesting. Also inspiring. If I ever get married, I'm doing that to my husband's balls too. So that was exciting. So I was the middle child of 5 kids. There's 4 girls and 1 boy. All 3 of my sisters have boob jobs, including my mother. Oh. But I don't, which tells you a little bit about me. I am broke. Yeah, comedian. And life choices. I was also a teen mom. It was really hard being a teen mom, you guys. Because like the other mothers at my son's school never talked to me. At sporting events, never talked to me. But paybacks are hell, ladies. Because when my son was in high school, I was voted the #1 MILF at his school. I am engaged. Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Finally, right? He is 10 years younger than me. Thank you again. Some of you might call me a cougar. I consider myself more of a sexual predator on safari. Oh, good times. We've been trying to spice spice things up, you know? Spice it up in the bedroom. And a friend of mine said, you should have him eat pineapple. Because that's spicing things up, right? Do we all know what the pineapple does to the men's part? Okay, we don't know. So what we decided, whoever wakes up first will go down on the other person. Because that's not creepy at all. So when he woke up last Saturday morning, I was sitting on his face. That's how you do it, right? I mean, that's how you do it, right? Ah, shoot. You know, it doesn't matter how old I get, I love to go out dancing with my girlfriends. Love it. Over the holidays, I was back home visiting. We went out to a club. And I was just all night, right? And my friends were at the bar, watching me, waving. I was like, oh, they think I'm such a good dancer. I got moves. That's not it. What I do have is 2 fake teeth in the front. And when I'm in a club with black lights, I look toothless! I was just Billy Bob, just all night.
I had to go to the hospital this week to visit a friend, unfortunately. I didn't know exactly where he was going to be in the hospital, so it took a little while, and the lady at the front desk just told me to follow the signs to stroke patients. Do you know they can ban you from the hospital? Some of you, I imagine, had snow days. Anybody have a snow day? Right? Man. I grew up in the Chicago area. We had some snow days. Yeah, I'll get there some more, don't you worry. We had some snow days here and there, but I just don't get the whole snow day thing anymore. There was so many of them. And like when you were a kid and you get a snow day, and it's like it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Snow day. Ah! Woo! 7 o'clock in the morning, it's time to get up and go to school. No. Right? But snow day, yeah, we're up for that. We're up running around the house, pajamas and everything. Of course, as an adult, you don't really get snow days. As an adult, you get your boss is like, well, if you don't feel comfortable coming in, you're welcome to work from home. Yeah, that's great. If you can work from home, that's fine. You may feel comfortable with that, that's fine. But as an adult and you work from home, you don't really get those days, the snow days. When you're working from home, you get pants optional days. It's way better. I am a horrible person, and you could tell leading up to Valentine's Day, I was giving some friends some advice. If you want to get the special lady in your life, something that goes from 0 to 200 in 2 seconds, buy her a scale. I'm a horrible person. I started to be a ventriloquist when I was a kid, but I was really bad at the puppetry part, so I just told everybody my dummy was paralyzed. You know that a lethal dose is the same as a lifetime supply? My therapist told me that to try to, make amends and kind of get myself right with people who have harmed me, that I should write them letters and burn them. Done. What do I do with the letters? Cigarettes and squirrels are, basically similar to each other. They are. Yeah, they're only dangerous if you put them in your mouth and light them on fire. Otherwise, not so much. I really like coffee. I'm a big fan of coffee, and if I'm feeling a little tired, I like to have a cup of coffee with a shot in it. Or that's a black eye. If I get really tired, I'll have coffee with 2 shots. It's a red eye. And if I get really tired, then I have a JFK. You guys are just encouraging me, really. Honestly. I have some traveling coming up. Brian was asking about vacations. My wife and I are taking a vacation, and I don't know if you've seen the TSA with all the government shut down and everything. Though they did get the government back up and running again. They said, oh, we're going to get the budget right, we're going to do this, but more lies ahead. With the TSA, though, with the way things have been going, it's been harder and harder to get my emotional support sandwich through. So I'm hoping that that's going to go a lot more smoothly this time. But they've been doing a really great job over there. I got to, hats off to them over at the TSA. Also, jacket, belt, shoes, pants, anything over 3 ounces, you got to leave that behind as well. We have a new governor, and she is run on the platform of fix the dang roads, right? Also, we got the proposition passed so marijuana is legal. Yeah, one clap over there. Thanks, Trebuchet, appreciate it. And I think we got to get these 2 crazy kids together. So we get fixing the roads with the money from the sales of marijuana. We call it Operation Bottle. Right? That's the way to make this stuff work. You got to market these things. I'll tell you who's been marketing like crazy lately is the Oreo people. Have you seen all the Oreos they have out there? The mega stuff, the most stuff Oreos. So typical package of Oreos, 3 rows of 15 cookies. Double stuff Oreos, 3 rows of 10 cookies. The most stuff, 3 rows of 5 cookies. There's like 2 fingers of cream filling in between those cookies. That's ridiculous. We don't need that. I'll tell you what else we didn't need is all the flavors. I'm okay with a lot of them. The peanut butter, brilliant. Mint, okay. Christmas, they come out with the peppermint, got little bits of peppermint in there. They've got birthday cakes on. They've got a new the millennial flavor, avocado toast. That's not good. I don't enjoy that very much at all. Then they came out with the cookies and cream flavored Oreo. So you made an Oreo flavored Oreo. Well done, Nabisco. Good job. Tell you what they did get right though is the 4th of July ones. 4th of July, they have Pop Rocks in the cream filling. Nobody's really into Pop Rocks? It's really just for 13-year-old boys and me when I put them in my cat's litter box. But the Girl Scout cookies are all out there. Did you guys see your dealer this year already? You're all set? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah, can you hook me up? Whoever's over there pointing. I went through an entire sleeve of Thin Mints the other day, and they have not worked yet. Some advice though, if you are looking to get some Girl Scout cookies, do not approach the girls at the table and say, "Come here, little girl, I want your cookies." "I'd like to sink my teeth in your Thin Mints." Because they will ban you. They can do that. I have noticed that I'm not allowed to wear cargo pants anymore. I've been told unequivocally, you're not allowed to wear cargo shorts, cargo pants anymore, by someone who was wearing a fanny pack. I thought we were all done with fanny packs. Oh no, they're back. In fact, there's special ones just for men. They are called, and this is a trademark name, I'm not making this up, the Balzac. I'm already uncomfortable enough with any woman who reaches in for her boob wallet. There is no way I'm going to say, "Hey Carl, what do you think of my new nutsack?" "Hey Bob, would you hold my nutsack while I tie my shoes?" That's not happening. Have you all noticed that I have a voice for radio? A little bit? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I worked in radio for a number of years. I do voiceover work. I've done some audiobooks, but one of my favorite things that I ever did is I was a finalist for the Chicago Cubs PA announcer job. I got to go to Wrigley Field. I got to call a pretend game, and then they sent me down to Human Resources where an intern or somebody was there shooting video of me, asking me questions about baseball. Well, we just want to make sure that you know a few things about baseball. Will you answer some questions? Sure, let's do this. This will be great. Okay, can you name 4 ways that a batter can get to first base? Sure. Well, they can hit a single, of course. You can get a walk, or a base on balls. Got to show off a little bit there. You could get hit by a pitch. And technically, you can steal first base. But I really think that there's one other way to get to first base that they've overlooked. And that is quite simply, pick up a nice bottle of wine, dim the lights, put on some music, and you'll be to first base before you know it. I did not get the job.
So I am wearing makeup. It's 2019. It's not really a big deal. But I do like that it's only straight guys that confuse me for being gay. The straight guy's going to go, look at that guy's makeup. He's obviously a homosexual. Then a gay guy's going to go, look at how poorly that guy applies makeup. He's definitely not a homosexual. And I am tall. I'm 6'5", and so strangers constantly ask me if I play basketball. And I realize there's a vibe and an energy we try and give out in the world, and apparently mine is basketball. I am doing something wrong. Right? Like I thought maybe Creepy Butler or Big Bird cosplayer might be more accurate, I think. And I do wear all black, which means that being this height and wearing all black, I look like a shadowy figure at times, so I'm not allowed to visit sick relatives at the hospital. Puts a lot of people in a panic. And since I do kind of dress like a Halloween costume, which is kind of cool that like people can dress up, as like a rock star thing for Halloween, but I can't do the same thing. I can't dress up like Bob the accountant. And if I do that, then everyone's like, oh look, Trevor finally got his shit together. Good for him. I realize I don't look like anyone famous, but I have had famous people's careers shouted at me. I had one guy yell, hey, Pirates of the Caribbean! Yeah. I want to come on your face. Which I thought was bleak, right? Because here's the thing, this guy, he was a big guy. He could have made that shit happen if he wanted to. This body was not made for fighting, it was made for heroin. Guys, I don't want to brag, but my parents my parents divorced. Wait, I'm screwing this one up. Let me start over. Guys, I am exactly the same age as the length of my parents' divorce. Yeah. Which didn't make me give up on love, because I think love's an amazing thing. You know, I remember I was in LA, I heard these 2 young gentlemen having a conversation. One of them said to the other, you know, I don't think you love me anymore. Yeah, and the other one responded, if I didn't love you, then why'd I suck that guy's dick for Disneyland tickets? And I thought to myself, that's amazing. Right? I'm not sure if I'm ever going to have that in a relationship. And what that'll happen for me is if my friend Charlie comes over and says, hey, Trevor, guess what? I just blew a guy for Disneyland tickets. And to that I would say, Charlie, boom, high five. Now brush your teeth, Mickey waits for no man. I saw this article that said people that read 30 minutes or more a day tend to live longer lives. Yeah, and I thought that was pretty depressing because I like to read. I do buy most of my books off Amazon. I got one in the mail recently and had a free bookmark in it, and I got pretty excited because I'd never gotten a free bookmark before. When I looked at the bookmark, all it said on it was, AIDS is closer than you think. I was like, what the fuck did I just buy? That's terrible. But I did read this article that said a 22-year-old girl was eaten alive by her pit bulls. Right? And that's really sad. But then all those people started saying, see, that's why people shouldn't be allowed to own a pit bull. That's exactly the reason why. I was like, well, that's why she shouldn't be allowed to own a pit bull. Right? Because you gotta have an animal that's appropriate for who you are. I got a 2-pound cat. Yeah, that way if the shit goes down, I can probably get out of there. There was a guy in Maine, he was taking his new puppy for a walk. A bear came out of the woods. He punched the bear and kicked it. The bear ran away. That guy can own a pit bull. He may even own that bear. I like true crime. I like this popular now. They got all these podcasts about true crime, all these Netflix documentaries and things like that. I was listening to one of these podcasts and talking about how all serial killers have a common characteristic, and that's that all serial killers have substance abuse issues. Right? And I thought that was interesting because I figured the most common trait among serial killers was that they were murderers. Makes the most sense. But I do like whenever they talk about serial killers, they always talk about the shallow grave, right? And I think the shallow grave is kind of a cool thing because it's a relatable thing, right? That's the only thing I can relate to. A serial killer, I can't relate to murdering someone. I think murder is a horrible thing. But you know what I can relate to? Not wanting to finish digging a hole. I get it. I also love detective stories, and I like the ones with the renegade cop, right? He always shows up 3 days late to the crime scene screaming about how you're never supposed to move the body. You know, who moved the body? You're never supposed to move the body. Every time I see that, I'm like, who's moving the bodies, right? Like, who walks into a room full of dead people and goes, you know what? I need to make adjustments. I'd be terrible at a crime scene, and I used to have roommates. If I ever came home, opened the door to my apartment, saw a bunch of dead bodies inside, I would shut the door and leave. Because murder happened in there, right? And unlike lightning, it always strikes the same place. I started watching this show about prostitution in the 70s, and when I was watching, I realized that I know absolutely nothing about prostitution. Right? Because at one point during the show, my girlfriend turns and goes, hey, I see the pimps taking all this money, but never giving anything back to the women. Like, how much of a cut does a pimp get? And I had no idea, so I took to Google, and I typed in, how much of a cut does a pimp get from his hoe? Which is probably the whitest thing I've ever written in my entire life. And it came up with all these interviews with pimps, and as it turns out, pimps are an unreliable source for information. I did not learn anything. But now I have this concern, right? Like, I'm afraid that my mom's going to come to visit me sometime. She's going to borrow my computer. She'll type in the words, how much? And the first thing that's going to pop up is, of a cut does a pimp get from his hoe? And here's the biggest problem with that. It makes me sound really concerned about the pimp. That is not the side you want to be on. I think there's a lot of bad advice out there, especially if you're in a long-term relationship. My girlfriend and I, we've been together for over 8 years, and people keep telling us you gotta spice things up in the bedroom, right? That's how you keep the romance alive, you spice things up in the bedroom. So we took that advice, we thought we'd go to one of those shops, buy a sex swing. Saw how expensive the sex swings were, and we're like, how about the door swing, right? We're amateurs. If you've never had sex with a door swing, I'll explain how it works. Basically, you take all this bondage gear out of the box, you put it on the other person, you hang them on a door, you stare at each other uncomfortably, then you take them off the door and have sex in the bed like a normal person. Yeah, that's sex with a door swing. And I think the worst advice I ever got when I was dating this girl when I was 19, and I used to be really prone to getting sore throats, and she's like, you know, next time you get a sore throat, what you need to do is you need to go down on the guy because the penis will massage your throat. And I was like, well, I thought I'd try some hot tea and some honey first. See how that goes. And I don't think that actually works. There's no way that that would work, right? Because, I mean, my grandma was really into home remedies when I was a kid, and I figure that would have been an affordable way to take care of that, right? That joke is not for everyone. I love signs. I like billboards and signage because it always seems like it's something that someone spent a lot of money on, but very little thought. right? My old apartment complex, there was this little sign in our laundry room that had a picture of a man's dress shirt with a bunch of different stains on it. You know, it had like chocolate and oil and all these ways to get it out. But it also had my favorite one. It had the old lipstick on the collar. Yeah, lipstick on the collar. I don't think that's affected anyone since like 1950, right? Here's the thing, and it's 2019. If you have lipstick on your collar, you made out with a drag queen. Or me. So I live in Chicago now, and they have suicide hotline signs everywhere, like by all the trains and everything like that, which is a good thing. I don't want to rag on the suicide hotline. And I know the suicide hotline is a really good thing, because I know whenever I'm depressed, the first thing I want to do is contact a call center and wait on hold for 45 minutes. That just cheers you right up, doesn't it? And I'm getting older. It's one of those things, I think when you get older, a lot of my friends are checking out like heritage. They want to see what side of the family, you know, they have, like different heritage. My friend and my dad had tried to do this, right? I knew my mom's side. I wasn't as familiar with my dad's side. So I called him up and was like, hey Dad, I heard you did the Ancestry.com. What'd you find out? He's like, well, it turns out your great-grandmother was kind of a slut. I was like, they can tell that from a Q-tip? Science is amazing, right? Alright. Yeah, I accidentally photobombed a dick pic. Which I didn't even know was a possibility. I made the mistake of going to the gym. I walked into the locker room, there's just this guy standing there taking a picture of me walking behind, just... So I don't go to the gym anymore. Weird. Whenever I tell people I don't go to the gym, I didn't like going to the gym either, you know. I don't like exercising all that much. But people always tell me, well, if you don't like going to the gym, why don't you try hiking, right? You're outside, you're in nature, you know, you're still getting the exercise. And I was like, I don't know, man, because I don't want to combine nature, which is something I love, and hiking, which is something I hate, right? So I think nature should be left where it was intended for, right? Which was stargazing, yeah, and shallow graves. That's what nature's for. And I know we can talk about other things tonight, but I can't stop thinking about being buried alive. You're with me on this one, all right. The reason why is I was reading this thing about this thing called a safety coffin. And I guess back in the late 1800s, doctors kept burying people alive because they couldn't tell the difference between them being asleep and being dead. Right, it's only 7 years of medical school, right? Still a medical practice for all we're concerned with. So this guy said enough's enough. And he built this thing which is extensively is just a string that goes from the coffin out to a stick, and they hang a little bell on it. So if you wake up in the coffin, you can ding the bell, and someone will come to dig you out in like 3 to 5 days. Because it was the olden days, right? It was one dude and a shovel. And that seems like an expensive thing, like an expensive mistake to make, right? So I think coffins are expensive. I don't know for sure. I don't know the price of a coffin. Now it surprises a lot of people because I look like I sleep in one. So I'll leave you guys with this. About a year ago, my grandma passed away, and it was sad, and I went back to Minnesota to go to the funeral. And when I got there, they're showing this photo slideshow. It's all these pictures over the course of her life. And a lot of these pictures took place at family reunions, because that's when you had the most family together in one photo. Now the thing is, most of the family reunions that I went to was back when I was in high school. And so you gotta remember something about me. When I was in high school, and I was a goth kid, right? I had long black hair that I hung in my face. But I'm also 6'5", so in all photographs, I gotta stand in the back. So as they're showing all these pictures, you got these smiling, happy people in the front, and then the girl from the ring standing behind them. Which had to look really weird to anyone who didn't know who I was, right? They're like, yeah, of course your grandmother's dead. The Grim Reaper's been tracking her for like 20 years. Thank you, guys.